Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go Cubby, Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable loser. Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
Eres muy entusiasmado esta noche. Hey, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. And we have a very special guest tonight, an invitado. And it's we got Miguel Esparza on the show, who's the Spanish language voice of the Cubs. And we're going to talk a little bit about the lockout. Tom Ricketts released a commercial for himself, and so we're going to laugh at that a little bit. And then I watched a really interesting Negro Leagues panel. We'll see if we can get to all that stuff. And then afterwards, we're going to talk to you on Colorcast, which is an app that we're doing a show upon. So download the Colorcast app. We'll talk to you there. Afterwards, follow Son Ranto Show. And as always, we're giving away a Frank Chance postcard. So in the chat, type in hashtag capital C Chance. Chance like Frank Chance name. And you can win a postcard sent to you by me. And I'll tell you I love you. Of course, on the show, we got Mr. Michael Cotton and Crawley busy with his bobblehead tournament. How's that going?
It's going, man. Like now it's getting to the later rounds. We got the cream of the crop rising up. So it's pretty good. No complaints. Super excited about the guest tonight that we have to get Miguel. There are certain people that represent the Cubs in a very positive way that like when I think of Wayne Messmer or when I think of Gary Pressey back in the day, guys that just were so fun to be around and so engaging with the fans and so open to people. I don't think enough Cub fans know Miguel just yet, and I'm hoping that changes because he truly is a talented guy, and it's going to be fun to have him on. And I've been excited about this one.
Well, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain too much. I just bought a ticket to go to
stuff, Michael.
I know. I just bought a ticket to go to Hawaii yesterday, so
but hey, now that's
I got that going on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was just thinking about how I'd like to go to Hawaii, but then I thought like it's too far away.
You're down in like beautiful Mexico. You're showing pictures of like sunsets and you're swimming, like everything's great. You know, some of us are getting jealous over here.
Yeah. Estoy in Mexico, and if you can get to Mexico at this time of year, it's absolutely beautiful. Like the weather's perfect. It's 82 degrees every day. It hasn't rained once. I'm just laying around the pool being a lazy butt. So, well, let's do it. Let's bring on our guest, Miguel Esparza. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show, and thanks for being here.
Thank
Bienvenidos.
You, guys. Muchas gracias. Very excited to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for the invite.
So, as we were talking a little bit before we went live today, and not only do you do the Cubs, you're the Spanish voice of the Cubs, but you also do the Bears and the Blackhawks, and you work at WBBM as well. Yep. I mean, that's all part of it and stuff. Yeah. How is it that you are able to switch all those different sports around, like different rhythms, different, you don't see Pat Hughes going off and doing the Bears game. You know, he's a baseball guy. So what's that like?
It's a good thing to have. It does, mess with your mind. And I have a particular way of preparing for each different sport and each game. So my mind doesn't work like a lot of the people's minds work where they're prepping days before I need my prep the day of. I get to the stadium 2 hours prior to each game, just because that's when I soak everything in. In my later years, I need a little bit of extra memory card or something, so it's just, that's how I process everything. And that's how I prep for it. So I have, and it's been, you talk about pace, the Cubs baseball, the pace is so slow and mellow. Then you go to the Blackhawks, and that is just unbelievably fast. You don't realize how fast that sport is until you have to do play-by-play for it. It's just surreal. And on the radio, because TV, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's different. TV, there's a lot of visual. There's a lot of spots where the announcer is, you stay quiet for a little bit and let people watch, right? Radio, you have to do every single movement of that puck, so it's totally different. And then the Bears, the same deal with the Bears football. It's real fast when you have to follow everything that you can and make sure that you don't miss a specific play or why. Like for the Bears, I'm an analyst. So my job there switches completely, because now I have to see why that play was able to be developed, why it was successful, why it didn't go the way it's planned. So it's just different preparation for everything that I do. And then WBBM, I'm a news anchor there, and it's totally different, because in my head, I'm thinking in Spanish, and I have to go on and do the news in English, so it's just, I don't know how I'm still sane.
Now, Miguel, you were born in Chicago, and obviously, all of us were very much influenced by Harry Carey back in the day. And I grew up in a bicultural household where, like, from the morning until about like 5 o'clock, it was Spanish. And then from 5 o'clock to the rest of the night was English. It was kind of weird. But I remember growing up and listening to like Spanish soccer announcers.
Right.
And just hearing the passion and how much, even if I didn't understand everything, I would get so excited by just the tone and the pace, like you were talking about. And when I started to hear your calls in baseball, kind of brought me to that. Do you think that there's a difference, say, Latino baseball, the way that it's called by Latinos as opposed to non-Latinos?
I think so. And it's not a takeaway from anyone of my colleagues. I love listening to Pat. I'm driving home and I'm listening to the post-game show to hear his calls. And when I hear Boog, like when I'm not, so I don't travel with the team. I don't do the away games. So I'm watching on TV. So I admire all their work for sure. But I think that mine, it's different in the sense that I love the Cubs, and I'm not saying they don't, but I grew up watching the Cubs. I grew up, my dad would take me to Wrigley Field. I would listen to Ron Santo, and I would hear his passion and his pain behind everything. So I think there's some of that influence in my way of broadcasting for sure, because I feel the same way. I love the teams that I broadcast for, which is just special. Now, a couple of years ago, the pandemic year, I was broadcasting. I was the analyst for the White Sox. And that was different because I'm not a Sox fan. So it was, you still had to kind of like, you're the home team call. So you have to root for them in a certain way. But, when they were facing the Cubs, it was like, I can't get excited, because it's just not the team that I root for.
That's actually really interesting, because a lot of guys, when we talk to them or when they talk about that, they say that they get, they create a distance from the team. Even if they did like the team at one point, they created distance. But for the most part, people don't actually call games for the team that they grew up liking. So,
right.
I mean, so
well,
we
love
go
homers
off
on this show.
Yeah,
we're big fans of homers. Like, we think all of our broadcasts should always be more homers. Like, we don't care if even that's a knock on them, So that's why I love listening to your call. Can I play one of your calls? I
Sure.
screenshotted some of your calls off Twitter. I'll play. Well, I'll start with this one. This one's good. There were some weird walk-offs last year. Check this out.
All right, 1-1 la cuenta, 2 outs, Frank Schwindel, lanzamiento, batazo, se va a ir hacia el área de parador en corto, se resbala, ¡seis! Y los Cubs van a ganar el partido. Frank Schwindel haciendo de las suyas y los Cubs la ganan otra vez. ¡Yeah!
You cannot fake that. You cannot fake that passion, though. That is
look like
genuine.
You're having the best time ever.
Oh man, it's the intensity, and especially it was so the way I started recording those calls. It was the Javi Baez walk off to center field against the Reds. And it was just one of those things. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pop on my phone. You never know what you're going to capture. and I recorded it and they walk it off, and it was the worst one of all my calls because my voice cracked and I hate it, so it was just like, but that just started gaining so much traction on Twitter that I was like, okay, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe people actually do enjoy it. So let's do it again. And so every time now that they were coming up, with on the bottom of the ninth, which they did it after that for a lot. It was just unreal the amount of walk-offs they had towards that end of the season.
Well,
now, Miguel,
they were struggling to put anybody away.
Yeah, for sure.
Miguel, how did you get into broadcasting? How did this all get started?
Well, my passion is singing. So I growing up, all I wanted to do was sing for a living. And I wish I could still do that to this day. But it didn't work out that way. So I was like, well, what if I go into radio and maybe from there I could go ahead and put my music on the radio. And I was able to do that. I went. So this year marks my 21st year in broadcasting here in Chicago radio. And I was able to record a CD. I have it on Spotify. It's Spanish music. It's banda. I performed at Aragon Ballroom, and I accomplished what I set out to do within that realm. However, I didn't become that success that I wanted to be. But that was pretty much the way to get in. Now with the sports, it was different. It was a friend of mine was running a station, and I was away for about half a year maybe from a radio station. And she called me. She said, Miguel, I need your support here at the station. She was running it. And I said, well, let's go. By that time, that station was broadcasting the Bears games in Spanish. So I told her I have two goals coming into the station again. I said, one of them being I want to be on the morning show. And the other one, I want to be the play-by-play for the Bears. I didn't think highly of the person that was doing it just because they weren't doing it the right way to my liking. So I told her, this is something that I want to do, and I know that I can do. And sure enough, 3 months later, I was in the broadcast booth with the Bears, and it was fantastic. So that's pretty much how it just happened. It was a thing that I never imagined I'd be doing. Love sports, like I said, growing up in Chicago. It was just I grew up with the Bulls. I grew up watching Michael and Sammy, and so it was just a matter of just bringing out the passion for those teams.
Now, when did you get the call to the big league, so to speak, as far as Wrigley Field?
Wrigley. So back in 2018, I joined Univision, and this was one of my goals to get into Univision as well because they carry all the teams. So we right now carry all the Chicago sports teams, and so I was like, this is where I want to be. This is where I need to get into. And sure enough, 2018 came around. I had an opportunity to go in. Working for 105.1, which is La Que Buena, which plays regional Mexican music. And it's the sister station of the station that I'm on now, which is a sports station. And my boss one day said, Miguel, do you know sports? I said, absolutely. And she had me cover one of the Bulls games. And then that was it. It was just from there. It just, when guys started calling off, Miguel was there. And every time somebody called off, I was there. And to this point, so last year, we were actually like kind of rotating. I didn't start as play-by-play last year. One of my other coworkers did, but one day he wasn't available for play-by-play. I jumped in, and then that was it. The rest of the season, I stayed on. And talking to Jeff Joniak, who was a great friend of mine, he helped me a lot at WBBM. I asked Jeff one time. Well, he asked me one time. He's like, Miguel, how many games do you do a year? I said, well, I do games when the other guys call off. He's like, people call off to this? I said, yeah, they do. And he's like, just grab a hold of everything you can. And that's what I've been doing. Miguel, are you available? Absolutely. Yes, for sure.
And for people that don't know, Jeff Joniak is the English voice of the Bears,
yep.
Play-by-play.
Yes, correct. So, and he was like, grab a hold of everything that you can when you get those opportunities. And sure enough, so play-by-play happened for the Cubs. It was like maybe I want to say about 3 weeks into the season. And then I started off the Blackhawks full season as play-by-play for the first time this year as well.
Now, you did something that's on my bucket list, Miguel. You did a lot of things on my bucket list, but I'm going to throw this one up here.
Oh, man.
The seventh inning stretch.
Dream come true.
What was that like? Who contacted you about that? And were you a little nervous at all? 40,000 people staring at you? What was going on?
Super nervous. I'm a huge Elvis fan. So a little backstory. I'm a huge Elvis fan. I was once the Elvis tribute artist at a casino in Joliet, and I'm talking about 50 pounds lighter. And but so it all comes from there. The nerves, there it goes. Yes, for sure.
Oh, nice. Look at that. Beautiful.
So the nerves were there, and there's a documentary on Elvis, and he talked about how nervous he was every time he was doing a show. And I've always carried that with me because I think of it, you know, some people tell you, oh, you don't have to be nervous, but nerves carry you and nerves drive you. So that was something that I was so nervous. I couldn't feel my legs. I was shaking. But and the way that happened was thanks to all of you guys, everyone that retweeted my videos, everyone that was out there supporting. Because when I started seeing that they were blowing up, Joe Rojas is my guy here at Univision who has the contact with Joe Rios at the Cubs. And I was like, Joe, contact Joe. Let him know that we're like blowing up right now on social media. And I think this is time for them to put me up and sing the 7th inning stretch. So I shot my shot and it happened. You know, they were like, okay, let's work something out. And it happened, you know, so it was pretty amazing. One of the best experiences of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one of the perks of being a Cubs announcer play-by-play is the room that they have for all the journalists and people to sit down in the back. And you get all these 7th inning stretch people that come, these celebrities. Who have you met that has really kind of blown you away or was just so interesting to you to meet?
The Big Show, the wrestler, The Big Show, man. He shook my hand. It was like, there you go. Look at my hand. Like, it's not even there. It's just, and when I saw that he was there, I said, I have to go I'm growing up, man. I watched wrestling a lot. And so when I saw that he was there that day, I was like, I have to meet that guy. I need a picture with him. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the other one was Bill Murray. That was fantastic. We actually brought him on into the booth. He spoke Spanish. I interviewed him in Spanish. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't know that he was going to answer in Spanish, and he did. And I was like blown away. So that was pretty cool in itself as well.
Oh, wow. Is that interview out there somewhere? I don't think I realized that Bill Murray spoke Spanish either.
It isn't, because I should have pulled it out, because it was the way it happened. It was just like a matter. I told my producer there, I said, look, Noe, I said, look into the booth, the 670, the score booth. And when you see Bill Murray stand up, you go outside and you bring him in here. And sure enough, he stood there and he made sure that when he brought him in, put on the headset, gave him the mic, and just Bill Murray just started talking Spanish. I was like, oh, okay. So that was pretty cool itself. Conor McGregor, there's no way getting near that guy. That place was full. He had his whole entourage there, and it was like no way you were going to get close to him.
You would have gotten COVID, I think, so it kind of worked.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to stay over 6 feet away from him.
Right.
I got a question about some different baseball terms in Spanish and like how they translate to English, because like sometimes I'll listen to the Dominican League in the Winter League, and I love it when there's like abanica, and it means fan, but it's it's literally like a fan that you would fan yourself with to it. I love the direct translation, but also like, kind of, I'm wondering about phrases like beanball or brushback pitch, or like some of the more ducks on a pond, or like, or like a cleanup hitter is not like a limpiador, is it? Like
no. And that's the thing, it's so difficult because there is no direct translation and none of that. And me in particular, what makes me different from, I want to say, every other Spanish broadcaster out there, is that I implement the English language as well. Like I'm not so strict that I have to translate everything, because everything is not translatable. So I know that they're like, especially here in Chicago, there's a lot of people like me that were born here in Chicago, Spanish-speaking parents, but they speak both languages. So I've always done that. I've always been I've never been afraid to throw in an English phrase in there. If you hear my broadcast a lot, I do the wow a lot. Like wows are like huge in my vocabulary when I'm excited about something. But it's just a matter of trying to figure out your own phrases and your own way of making it entertaining.
Oh.
Danny, can we hear another one of those calls that you have? I love it. And I don't, you know,
it's taking a second for me to hit it. So one of you guys hit it. If you can go into the brand, because I'm in Mexico. I'm next to the router, but I know I keep freezing.
Let's try this one real quick.
Yeah.
Hay un out solamente. Se prepara. Howard con el lanzamiento. Viene el batazo. La va a elevar. Se va a quedar dentro del diamante. Tiene que regresar a primera base. Schwindel se le cae. Oh my goodness. Va a correr. Schwindel. Y los Cubs ganan el partido. ¡Yeah! Inteligentemente. La pelota se eleva. La juegan mal. Cae. Ian Happ llega safe. Y Ortega, y Alcántara llega anotando a home y ganamos el partido.
Those weird plays.
Yeah.
They get you.
I heard that. You did have a little bit of English jump in there. I think you said, "Oh my goodness." In the middle of it, because that's the only thing I recognize. And I was like,
I wouldn't go in there and say like, "Oh Dios mío," you know, that's like too much. That would be like The Simpsons translated in Spanish, you know, "Oh Dios mío," or whatever it is. You know,
all we needed to know is Los Cubs ganó.
Yeah. That's
now I got to ask you, Miguel. You know, there are such a strong contingent of Latino players. Have you gotten the opportunity yet to start doing some interviews with some of the Latino players out there?
Not yet. So here's the thing. You know, once again, so going back to the station, the Univision itself, they've broadcast these games for a very, very long time, but there has never been a connection with the team and the broadcasters until now. So now, it's amazing, and it would blow my mind. Like, we would walk in there years prior where we would go in, we'd go in the booth we were designated, and we'd leave. Nobody talked to us. We didn't talk to anyone. And this year, when I was told that I was going to be on that broadcast 100%, I said, I'm going to change things. You know, I'm going to make sure that I create these relationships and cause an impact, you know, and I think that it was done successfully. And once again, I thank everyone out there, all you guys as well, for retweeting those videos, because that really opened the doors for us. It opened the doors with the organization. They turned their eyes towards us. Marquee Sports Network did it as well. You know, that Rafael Ortega one, that call, they meshed it with Book Jambi. So it was a combination they did of both of our calls. So they started looking our way. So coming into this next season, we're already talking with the Cubs. We're planning something real cool. I still can't say what it is, but it will be in connection with the players. So hopefully everything pans out. And like I said, once again, I thank everyone out there that's watching, because I know a lot of you guys retweeted my stuff and followed me and did all that good stuff. And if you're out there and don't follow me, because they ask for numbers, and my numbers are very low. So
we'll get you up there. Don't worry, Miguel.
At Miguel's Voice is and MiguelSVoice. Miguel's Voice.
Correct.
And so follow him. I noticed that. I'm like, well, you only got like 1,000 followers. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, you would have thought that how viral that some of your calls went this past summer, that people would click that follow button. But it happened. It's weird that way sometimes.
Right.
And
So don't follow me.
I'm gonna pitch something, and you can bring it to your bosses at Univision, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna pitch something, Miguel, and you can take credit 100%. Just let me watch you sing in the booth one day. But I say Miguel Esparza as Spanish Cubs play-by-play guy, and Pedro Strop as the color man.
Oh, that'd be fun.
For sure. My other coworkers won't enjoy it, because that's, you're taking away from their job, but I'm sure that different things will happen now. Once again, like I said, the organization now knows who I am and what we've been doing, and it's great. Like I said, it's just been great to be able to get that recognition and to know that, like I said, this year is my 21st year in broadcasting, and to be able to now say that, it's being recognized in a different way, it's more than a blessing for me.
Well, when you talk about viewership and, people that are into the game, I've been saying for years that the Cubs don't do enough to engage the Latino fan base. I know they've had some Latino Heritage Days. I got a couple shirts, I got a couple hats,
Right.
stuff like that. But more engagement with the Latino fan base, because it's out there. It's just hasn't. I don't know if they've been as welcoming as they should to incorporate that into their everyday operations.
Yeah, I think, and once I go back to I think it was just the fact that that connection wasn't there. The right person to be able to take that next step. And I think that now with what we've established, I think we're definitely going to expand that way more. We're going to, one of the things that I'm huge on being able to connect with the community. And I told you when I met you at the 400 Club the other day, I told you guys, if you ever have a charity event, anything that I could be of some service, I'm all there. Because that's the only way that you could really give back. And so I think now we're going to have that so much more this season. Once we get started, hopefully we get started.
Well, I know that
I was going to say, I think that there's definitely an opportunity for you and Danny to do a duet for sure.
Let's go.
I was going to say, I'm in a band called the Bleacher Bum Band, and we sing all these songs about the Cubs over at G-Man Tavern. And we do one Elvis song. We do Viva Las Vegas as Viva Chris Bryant, but we can find the right key for us, and we'll add some harmonies, and we can do a few Elvis songs. I also do One Night with You. If
okay,
you know that
I love them all.
Yeah, so I'll give you the background. Dip, 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 dip.
One night with you. It's all I'm now praying for.
I love it.
So Miguel is part of this group of young people that are all coming together at the same time as new, fresh faces. So Miguel's in there. You have Josh, and you have our buddy Johnny B and Jeremiah. So it's a great crew of people that are kind of organically coming together. And so I saw that you and Josh did a video one time of Kansas City. Was it Kansas City?
Kentucky Rain.
Kentucky,
my favorite of all time. Yeah.
And
Kentucky
you did
Rain. Yeah. That's one of my favorite Elvis songs. And it's not one that when you think Elvis, you think Kentucky Rain. A lot of people think Can't Help Falling in Love, Suspicious Minds, Don't Be Cruel, All Shook Up, Hound Dog, and Heartbreak Hotel. But if you listen to Kentucky Rain, the way that song is put together and the way that man's voice just carried that song is just unbelievable. I'm super excited about the movie coming up.
Have you been to Graceland?
Oh, yeah, about 7 times.
Well, here's what happens is that Miguel and I are talking, and he says, hey, this was the Frank Schwindel event. And he's at Club 400. He says, hey, are you guys going to be around late? I'm like, it's a Club 400 party. We're going to be around pretty late. And so Miguel swings on after the Blackhawks game, swings on by, and we got karaoke going on. And so I tell people, hey, Miguel's coming, voice of the Spanish Cubs. He's great. And everyone's like, yeah, bring him over, no problem. But I knew that you were a big Elvis singer, but nobody else knew. And so karaoke's going on. And so Miguel takes the mic and absolutely just wows them with his voice and his Elvis. Not everybody knew that he could do that. So now I'm going to I think, Miguel, you put your Kentucky Rain song in there. I think you sang that. And then I go up there while you're singing to the karaoke booth. And I said, I got to have him and Johnny B do a duet, John Benedict, organist. And so I have a video clip from Club 400, which, by the way, everybody loved you and wants you back.
For sure.
But this is Johnny B and Miguel Esparza doing Suspicious Minds.
Suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. So if an old friend I know, very good people, I say hello, would I still see suspicion in your eyes?
I could listen to that all night, Miguel.
Love it. Make sure to send that to me for sure.
Absolutely. And I will, like I said, it was just so much fun having you out, and you were so generous with everybody, and everybody, taking pictures. It was just great.
Thank you for having me, and I'm all for it for sure.
So if you're not following Miguel, we put his Twitter handle into the comment section right below at Miguel's Voice. Again, just a great follow. And I'm so excited. Where do they listen to you on the radio?
So we broadcast on 1200 AM. So you can listen to the Blackhawks there. You can listen to the Cubs, Bears, Bulls. We carry the Fire. We carry every sport in Chicago. Now, if you catch the Cubs on Marquee, you click on the SAP option and you can listen to my broadcast there and watch it on TV. So that's pretty cool.
You're saying during the game, I can flip it over to you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm all in. Just seeing. I was a huge Ron Santo fan as well, and just seeing your energy and how much you excited. I will learn Spanish from watching you call the Cubs. I watch enough games. I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, I was wishing that I could slow it down to about 80%, which is what I have to do on my intermediate Spanish tapes that I'm walking around like down here doing, talking to myself. If I could just slow it down slightly, because it's true. It's like when it gets going, everything runs together, and it is a broadcast mostly for native speakers. But what I need to do is record everything you do and then listen to it the next day.
Right. Slow it down a little bit.
Down. Yeah.
Now, if you want fast, listen to a Blackhawks broadcast. That's fast. That for sure. You know, like I said, we're up high. There, you got to follow a small little puck and make sure that I follow it 100% and tell you everything that's going on that ice. So it's pretty fast. And
Sunday mornings, you're on WBBM, right?
I'm the WBBM, so I'm there. It could be on a Saturday afternoon. It's just all over the place. The problem is now that with all the broadcasting of the games, especially the Blackhawks, like interferes a little bit, but they're so lenient out there, and I love them at BBM, the way that they take care of me and keep me around, because you know they deal with my schedule on this end of it, so I appreciate them very much for it.
Well, Miguel, we appreciate you for taking your time out of your night and coming and talking a little bit of baseball with us. It's obviously frustrating that the season is potentially in peril, but we are hopeful, and like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the ballpark, and hopefully everybody will be able to follow you now. And yes, we learned a tip about the SAP button, which like somebody put in there that you made Michael's night.
Oh yeah, I'm all over that, man. I'm all about that passion and just being able, if I can't understand most of it, I understand the passion, and that's what gets me excited to watch a game.
Thank you. So that was big for us. It was real big to be able. That was implemented this year as well, this past season with Marquee and the people. I was getting people listening in Mexico and Puerto Rico, all over the place. So it's fantastic. A good way to reach out and have our product out there as well.
Well, we were glad to have you on here, and hope to have you on again in the future, Miguel. And hopefully I see you sooner rather than later. You can follow Miguel at Miguel's Voice, and he is on WBM and AM. You said 1400?
1200.
1200. I got close.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, Miguel. And we will go to commercial.
Yeah, great meeting you, Miguel.
Thank you, Samir.
Thanks for coming. If you're like most Americans, you buy shit. Lots of shit. Sometimes you buy shit for other people. Sometimes you buy shit for yourself. And sometimes you buy shit you have to buy just to stay alive. So why not buy shit through the Son Ranto affiliate? Links at sonranto.com/shopping. We've got tons of shit you can buy. Go to sonranto.com, click on the shopping link, then click our ads and buy shit. We've got Amazon. They've got tons of shit. But you can also buy MLB shit, NBA shit, NFL shit, Fans Ed shit, Southwest Airlines shit, Fanatic shit, Reebok shit, Wine of the Month shit, Beer of the Month shit, Bear Mattress shit, StubHub shit, Lid shit, Sports Memorabilia shit, Volcanica coffee shit, Vibrator shit, Condom shit, Bag shit, NHL shit, and Audible membership shit. There's a whole lot of shit that can help the Son Ranto Show stay on the air so we can keep talking shit. So buy shit today through sonranto.com/shopping. Thanks. Cubs Jesus thinks you're the shit.
Hey, we're back.
Oh, yeah.
Are
awesome.
You back, Danny?
I don't know how back I am. My internet's in and out. I know I'm freezing here and there and stuff like that, but hopefully you guys can hear me in and out. We got 25 minutes left of the show. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. And don't forget to put #chance into the chat to win a postcard sent to you by me of Frank Chance. Hashtag chance. So yeah, the negotiations aren't going very well. I mean, it's kind of what I expected because I just don't have a whole lot of hope. But I saw this today. I tweeted this out. Obviously, this is how we feel on this show. I stand with owners.
How in the hell could somebody?
I don't know. I kid. Together. But this is pissing me off because we're going to talk about it later in the show. But Tom Ricketts put out a commercial for himself that was actually shot before the pandemic even started. I kind of sleuthed that out. But he's putting out, I guess, good vibes about himself, little commercial for himself. Meanwhile, I see this on Twitter. Max Scherzer showed up in a Porsche. Like that's supposed to make him sound like a big rich guy. AP Sports tweets out, Mets Max Scherzer arrives in a Porsche, joins fellow pitcher Garrett Cole and other players, blah, blah, blah. Like that's such a bad thing. Attempt to salvage opening day on. And then somebody tweeted after that, well, the owners arrive in a super yacht that eats other super yachts, joins players for a third, and then does the rest of the thing. It's just like, so they're starting to come up with the news. The owners are realizing that they're losing in the battle of public opinion. And so they're like, go talk trash about it. Bring them down. And
now we got the remix.
Ooh. Oh, good. It stopped. No, the worst part about that is I saw the Twitter account was an AP account. So like they are, and that's what it was back in the day. They have the traditional media, and that is how they controlled the narrative and made people not like the players in 94, 95. And, now they don't have that. And I do think that they are realizing that, but they're still going through. It's like, well, can't you just still put it on the Twitter thing?
And it's interesting, like you said, we've talked about social media allowing the fans or the players to have direct access to the fans. And so it truly has changed the game, and it is for the better for the players. And, they're going to keep trying to frame it. That's why the players want the mediators, is that they want to make it so like, oh, look at how unreasonable the players are.
Why the owners want it. Yeah.
Right. That's why the owners want it. And so what they're doing is they are if you get the mediators in, they're going to try to say, oh, we'll just do everything 50-50, but that's not what the players are looking for. So it's just bad publicity if you do it and then don't accept the offer. It makes you look unreasonable.
Well,
so they've learned.
Let's not forget that the owners on December 4th or whatever it was locked out the players and didn't talk to them for 45 days. And just went on Christmas break. So, like, what are we even looking at here? They're not. That was a negotiating tactic to lock them out. They could take away the lockout at any time, and they could play under the old CBA if they wanted to. They could play this totally different. They're just dug in. Everybody's digging in, and this was disheartening. Like, did you see all the Drellich tweets?
Yeah.
The Major League Baseball spokesperson said tonight that if a deal is not in place by February 28th, which is in 5 days from right now, regular season games will be canceled. The deadline is a deadline, the spokesperson said. Player pay would not be recouped. The games would not be rescheduled, the spokesperson said. And they're set to meet again tomorrow for the 4th straight day of meetings in Florida, and the union's going to make a counter proposal. But they remain far apart. And I saw the union came with that to get the minimums way up so that you get a raise every year. You're almost making $1 million by that 3rd year before you hit the arbitration window, which the owners could afford. But that seemed like a non-starter. But that was to give up some Super 2 guys.
Let's talk about that, because Corey writes in, owners officially start losing money this weekend with canceled spring training games. The owners are not, I don't want to say they're not concerned about losing money, but the goal is to start affecting player paychecks. So the majority, when you think about big contract players, when you think about your Garrett Coles, when you think about your Mike Trouts, they are in the minority of those guys that get the huge contracts. 65% of the workforce, I want to say close to that number, is making the minimum wage for baseball. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I saw too, was listening to Cubs talk. Gordon Wittenmeyer's been all over it. 2/3 of the players make the minimum, not the average, the minimum.
Right. And so the goal here for the owners, they don't care. They are billionaires. Okay. So they can sit there and they can absorb the losses more than the players. And then again, for every Garrett Cole that you have a couple hundred other players that need these paychecks. And this is where it gets tricky. And this is what they're trying to do, is to get the players to waver, to get the union to get frustrated, worried about money. And the union has a small pot set aside to help some players and stuff like that. But they've been telling the players for a couple of years now, don't buy a new car, don't do this, don't do that. Be very careful with your money, because they knew that this was going to be a drag out, knockdown brawl.
Well, and I hope that they really stick to their guns, because what's been going on with the the luxury tax not going up for years, even though they're making more and more money. I mean, these guys are making billions of dollars a year, but their costs are not going up, and all of that. And that sometimes gets lost in the shuffle, is that their margins get wider and wider while they keep the players right where they're at. And, and we're all sort of struck by, Fernando Tatis making over 300 million, but that's one guy versus every single owner making $1 billion.
And that big money really does move the averages
Correct.
up, because it's so big. It's so big. And the thing that is frustrating about the luxury tax thing is they are so far apart I think that is the biggest thing. They got the draft picks, they got the expanded playoffs, and it's all working together. We'll give you this if you give us that. But I haven't seen the owners come back one iota back to the players with anything that it's even remotely close to what they're asking for, and not even coming at all their way. Like,
didn't they offer 214 like 3 or 4 different times?
Yeah,
they didn't move at all.
And it doesn't go up until it doesn't go up at all, like for 5 years, like 1% increases and stuff. And so, and it's frustrating because I mean, even though the luxury tax, some teams don't care and they just blow through it for a while. Most teams do care. Sarah Sanchez had that article in Bleed Cubby Blue about how it's like 8 freaking teams have done it over like 20 years, and been done like 8 times or something, or 30 times in the whole, and it could have been 5,000 times.
It was only
6% or something like that.
Yeah, Danny, I can tell you what she said because I listened to your other podcast, Bleed Cubby Blue, the one that you moonlight on. I listened to that just today. There were 9 teams that broke the luxury tax, and the 9th one was the Padres, just as last year, and only 37 times over. The opportunity to do it was like 3,000 times or something. Like it was some crazy. So 30 teams, 30 teams, 19 years, this many opportunities, and they only did it 37 times. It was
one thing to keep in mind, though, too, is the question of, is ownership going to hold too? Because you have the players that a couple guys make a lot of money and a bunch don't, but with ownership, and this is where a strike would really hurt the Cubs more than most other organizations. Tom Ricketts doesn't want to strike at all because of the amount he has invested around the ballpark. The Cubs are one of those teams. And they told you about it all throughout the pandemic. They told you a bazillion times. Their game day revenues, Boston Red Sox game day revenues, those big teams, that they get a large percentage of their money from day of game. Whereas when you talk about White Sox or Kansas City or the Pittsburgh, because I know Michael will give me an AL joke, but when you talk about those teams, they don't make as much money from day of game. They make their money from the revenue sharing. Okay, so for Tom Ricketts, he has rent to collect. He has buildings to fill. He has bars that are sitting empty. If you don't, guys, Danny and I and Michael, we went to the playoff game in 2020 against the Marlins on a rooftop, and it was so odd to see it empty. When the Cubs are good, when they're fun, when they're in the postseason, Wrigleyville is literally jumping. You can't find a spot to sit down. You are drinking like a fish. Everybody's having a blast. And that revenue is what the Cubs have been trying to control since the Ricketts have bought the team. The Tribune even tried to control that. Even before then, is to try to get all that area around and bring those dollars in. But if there's no baseball, the Ricketts have a lot more to lose than the Reinsdorfs of the world. Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't even pay for his parking lot. He just gets the revenue. That's all owned by the state.
Yeah.
So what the shit does Jerry Reinsdorf care? Well, and I find it so interesting that the guy most responsible for the 1994 strike, when they had I think the White Sox win it in 94. That's my opinion. And now the White Sox have another chance to go far, and look what's happening.
Yeah, and he's sinking it again. Corey writes in, if a Cubs fan makes a bet in an empty sports book, does it make a sound? Yeah, I mean, and conversely, you got the Tom Ricketts of the world, and then you've got some of the 8 owners. Only 8 owners can sink any vote and not approve the next contract. So I think there might, we like to think of the owners as being in lockstep. I'm sure they would love to be some of the rich ones, but I think there's a lot of guys that are real pains in the ass, to be honest, because if you look at the Pirates of the world, where they're just sitting there like pocketing that revenue share money and not spending it on the team, like that dude's just like basically his own mint over there.
Well, and yeah, so he doesn't want to raise that up because he wants more of that luxury tax money, because let's face it, the Pirates pay their entire payroll on revenue sharing. They get about, I think I heard the number was around 60 million, and that's basically what their payroll is. So everything that, like, basically all the other teams pay for their players and they just pay for the rest of it. Yeah. It's like having, that's exactly the game plan for a minor league team. The Cubs pay for their minor league players, and then the owners of the minor league team just pay for the other stuff. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's how they run their organization.
Now, Little Yumper says, remember, Crawley, that Wrigley Field gets tax breaks now because it's a federal landmark. No doubt, but it's nowhere near the amount of money that they get over 81 games. And I can tell you in the postseason, the amount of money that they pull in, I can show you. I got every goddamn hat from 2003. I got it from 89 back hats. Like, people buy the hat, they buy the shirt, they buy the pennant, they buy just crap upon crap. I could have probably retired 5 years earlier if the Cubs didn't win the World Series. I swear to God. God on his truth.
It was worth it, though.
God, was it worth it? But literally the amount of
you'll be there those last 5 years just hating the Cubs, be like, damn it, why'd you have to win? I could have been on a beach somewhere.
I could have been in Puerto Vallarta with Danny.
Exactly. But no, I want. So speaking of owners, though, I thought this was interesting. Michael pointed out to us that, what's the name of it? Shy Sports Nation, which is not a real blog that anybody goes to. It's not like but they're owned by, or they own also like Cubs Sports Nation. And then they also, anyway, they put out this basically.
Anybody in the chat, if you've heard of them or interacted with their websites or anything, let us know, because this is new to us.
Yeah, well, it's a bullshit site. So like, I go down this rabbit hole and I see that Cubs Nation, who's also owned by Shy Sports Nation, has retweeted their Tom Ricketts, chairman of the Cubs, has transformed the north side of Chicago video. Salvi Media is retweeting it. And then I'm like, well, who's Salvi Media? And I look into that, and Salvi Media, I don't even know who they are, but they also got one for Reinsdorf. Salvi Media, I'm looking for that tweet. I guess I accidentally erased it. But it's they're a marketing company. So Tom Ricketts or the Cubs hired Salvi Media to put out a commercial for him while the owners are getting a bad rap in the press. So Tom Ricketts, and this was filmed before.
That's the worst part. He didn't even take the time to film a new thing.
They just decided to put it out now.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to play it. Hopefully it'll play.
We're really proud of our Emmys. We've come a long way, like, producing our own original content has been something we've actually become pretty good at. So that will be really helpful as we launch our network this year.
Launch our network this year is what he said. So this is an old thing. They put it out now. The whole thing is a commercial for him like that with like funky music and him bragging about shit.
About how good they were with their own entertainment, like how good they are with what they're creating, their creative process. Like, and everybody hates Marquis.
I was just trying to. I don't hate Marquis, but I was trying to figure out what porn music was playing in the background. I'm trying to.
Well, check out this.
That's what you couldn't see off camera.
I can't recommend going to watch this, but maybe put it on in the background and have sex. It seems like that might work out. But check out this other one. Now, this one he dropped.
You will last a long time if you put this on while having sex. It'll be really hard to finish.
Yeah. Don't think about baseball. Think about Tom Ricketts. But he even drops Nelson Mandela's name in it. Did you check that out?
Yes.
He's like, I know a guy who knows Nelson Mandela. Check this out.
There's a global sports foundation called the Laureus Foundation. It was started by Nelson Mandela. And he worked with a man named Rupert at Richemont, which is a luxury brand conglomerate. And they do a global sports award every year. And we were the first American team ever to win Global Sports Team of the Year. And the award ceremony was in Monaco, and it's broadcast all over the world. It was pretty cool. I got Michael Phelps gave me that. Usain Bolt was there. It was just incredible.
Michael Phelps gave me that. Usain Bolt was there. These are the people. Just hold on. I dropped something.
What? You've never been to Monaco? Yeah, well, you absolutely should.
Well, and I love how he had to tell us it's broadcast all over the world. Really? How come none of us have ever heard of this award at all?
You would think that with that TV network that he was about to launch, that they'd put it on. So I found that kind of ridiculous that they're putting out there. And Jerry Reinsdorf has one, which I did not watch, but just to let you guys know that the propaganda is being AP press propaganda coming out from owners. You know, Tom Ricketts' commercial of himself shot 2 years ago is coming out right now. It's the blitz is on.
I was focused on the Miguel stuff and I didn't look into the other stuff as much, but I did there's Craig Calcaterra has been kind of uncovering this Twitter page. It's called the National Fans Union.
Oh yeah.
And pretending to be a voice of the fans, so to speak. And so Craig says, mad props to whoever started the fans union thing and who will soon flip the database they're transparently attempting to compile to MLB, which will then use it to better target and leverage fan anger against labor. Now, National Fan Union responds, we'd never sell out our fellow fans to MLB, not until we had at least 5 million emails. Jokes aside, that's not our bag. We just want our sports to be better. We'd love to talk to you for your newsletter, though. You said you had pointed questions. Oh, yes, Craig had pointed questions. Craig said, why is your LLC headquarters official statutory agent the same as a law firm which represents multiple professional sports teams and which once represented the commissioner of baseball? Seems like a conflict of interest. No response yet from the fans union, the National Fans Union.
Oh, wow, dude. See,
I mean, honestly,
that fits all together with what we're talking about.
Yeah, a fans union would be amazing, right? Like, we should go down to Wrigleyville.
It's called the Ranters.
With our fucking signs, and we should just walk around Wrigleyville and, like, we're not buying, we're not betting.
Fans
I don't know.
on strike.
Well, that's going to last until we get thirsty and we see those beers being poured, and then we're broken.
Oh no, it'll like we'll all have to
we're
have
not gonna
flasks
take it
and stuff. Like, yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, definitely some bizarre stuff going on there, and
but that would be kind of cool if we could get a fans union who could actually go. If you could set something up like a special day where just fans of each team would just go down to their ballpark, with signs saying, like, we support the players, just to if something like that were to be actually done. So this National Fan Union bullshit, obviously. And good on Craig Calcaterra. He's a great follow on Twitter. He's very smart. I do not subscribe to his newsletter, but whenever they're free, I read them because I'm that dick. And so, but he's really smart. He used to be a lawyer and turned baseball writer, and now Substack writer, I think, or something. He's
got his own thing. I think you could just
he's all over the place now. He was maybe with the Athletic or something, or ESPN. So he was with somebody bigger. NBC, that's what it was. He was with NBC before, and now he does his own thing.
Cool. Well, we should probably we got our ColorCast post game show coming up after we get done here. So if you haven't yet, download the ColorCast app on the App Store. They're still working on the Android version. I guess that should be coming soon. They said it would be coming soon. And follow Son Ranto Show, and you could talk to us over there after the show. We're just going to play another quick commercial, and then we're going to come back and pinch this sucker off. So we'll be right back.
Do you like having sex? Me too. That's why I always wear my Son Ranto swag shirts every time I'm looking to get some. It's the only t-shirt guaranteed to get you laid. Knock boots in your shankless shirt. Bump uglies in a Ranter long sleeve. Ride the skin busted Tuna Town in a Dabbing Cubes fan shirt. Take gold one-eye to the optometrist in your bull penis awesome attire, or smash pissers in a Spagog shirt. Son Ranto swag shirts are just like people. There are many different sizes and colors to choose from. Plus, at Son Ranto's swag store, you'll find vintage John Baker Day, Designated Hater, and Matt Cameron drawn rally titty designs on everything from shirts and hoodies to baby onesies, bags, and hats. Go to sonranto.com/swag and check out all the sexy styles guaranteed to get you laid. You'll be stuffing the soft taco in no time. sonranto.com/swag, guaranteed to get you laid.
Wearing Son Ranto swag products not guaranteed to get you laid. Son Ranto swag is not responsible for your sex life. Son Ranto swag is for entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back. And don't forget to type in #chance into the chat if you want to win a postcard of Frank Chance sent to you by...
Would you say, Danny, it's their last chance?
It is your second to last chance, I would say. But yeah, we'll do it in a second. Unless anybody doesn't have any TFCs, I dropped the link for ColorCast in the chat.
I have one.
Okay, yeah, I have one too. I also have one announcement: is that Peter O'Hay, my show at the Trapdoor Theater in Bucktown, Chicago, is a hit. We've gotten all these great reviews, even like a radio show called The Dueling Critics. They freaking loved it, and it's selling out. So we extended. So we're going to be going through like March 19th now. So that's 6 more chances to see the show. Hope you guys can come out and see it. I think the actors don't have to wear masks soon, so that's exciting because cases all went
February
down
28th.
So yeah, February 28th. I think everybody's taking them off unless they want to wear them just because they're used to wearing them. You know what I mean? But anyway, come see it. Trapdoortheater.com is where you can get tickets. That's theater spelled with an R-E, all fancy English style. So TFCs. Who's got one? I got Michael. You said you have one. Let me find.
Yeah, I have one here. So this was in response to Jeff Passan. He was explaining the CBT, and going through all the different little stuff. And then you get down here and you get Matthew jumps in and says, not sure that's what CBT means, Jeff. And then Adam responds right after that, Jeff. And on there is the CBT definition, which is cock and ball torture. Penis torture or dick torture is a sexual activity involving application of pain or
you don't have to read the whole thing
to the penis or testicles, which I just thought was excellent because Jeff Passan had dropped the word CBT 8 million times in that little thread. it reads completely different if you think the whole thing is about cock and ball torture.
It does. All right, I got one here. This was tweeted out actually by the Brewers. The Brewers, their tickets went on sale, and they tweeted out, "Are your sleeping bags ready? The Arctic tailgate is this Friday with single game tickets for the 2022 season going on sale at 9 a.m. Saturday. Don't miss out." And they just had this woman standing out there doing oh, come on down. I guess you're supposed to freeze your butt off and buy some tickets for opening day. And there was a lot of comments being like, "Why don't you get a season first, idiots?" And then there was this guy that said, and this is "Are you freaking serious?" on Twitter, R_freaking if you want to go follow him. He said, "Wheel, this is awkward," but he spelled well wrong. He spelled well with it, like wheel,
which is also awkward.
This
I think
is
you nailed
awkward. I know it's
I can say though,
awkward.
sometimes that is autocorrect. I am going to give "Are you freaking serious?" because I've never looked at his account the benefit of the doubt.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
You've never looked at his account because that's clearly a fucking burner account. Like he's so nervous that he created an account just to say, "Well, this is awkward." Like I don't want the Brewers on my case.
He's got no picture, unless he's doing that because of the players. Like the all grayed out.
It used to be an egg, right? And now, I mean, that sort of looks like a penis.
So I sat there and I was very scared that Danny stole my TFC because it comes from the same tweet, which was just such crap by the AP. We talked about this before. AP Sports reports Mets Max Scherzer arrives in a Porsche, joins fellow pitcher Garrett Cole and other players as Union and MLB meet for a third straight day. So they had to put in that he arrived in a Porsche. Well, Richard Staff writes, "Thanks, Associated Press. Did you know that if Max Scherzer arrived in a convoy of 9,999 Porsches worth 100,000 each, that wouldn't even be $1 billion worth of Porsches. Steve Cohen has $18 billion. Hope this helps."
Yeah. I like that one.
So you could have $10,000, $100,000 Porsches, and you still aren't even close to Steve Cohen and whatever he's driving in.
It's the law of large numbers. We cannot fathom them well. But when you put it like that, like 10,000 Porsches, which I can't even imagine what that even looks like. You know what I mean? Do they even make 10,000 Porsches a year? I don't even know. Probably. And I only had one more, and I thought this was funny. It was behind a payroll wall, so I'm not going to subscribe to USA Today to see what Bob Nightingale had to say. But I love the headline because it involves an ex-Cub.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Nightingale had an article that was titled "Hall of Famer Goose Gossage wants to punch MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, stick Brian Cashman in a trash can."
He says a lot of dumb shit all the time, and it's par for the course. I love it though because I agree with him this time.
Well, I'm going to say it really is helpful if people stop interviewing people like Goose Gossage, because even though he may be right 0.0001% of the time, he is just one of those people that we're better off not hearing anything from. And when you say he was a former Cubs pitcher, I was excited, and he sucked, and he was old and used up and crap.
Yeah, and right, Crawley. This is a broken clock being right once a day.
Yeah, let's face it. Goose Gossage is basically the Ted Nugent of X-Relievers.
Right. It's the same thing. Stop asking Rick Santorum what he thinks. It's just not a great idea. Just stop. It's just nobody gives a shit. And you're not going to get any good response. So just don't.
Santorum. Remember when that got a sexual term to it too? And Dan Savage made up what a Santorum was. Did you ever see that? I don't even want to say what it was because it's freaking gross. Anyway, I guess that's the show. We're going to be on Colorcast.
If you want to find out what Dan Savage said, Danny's going to put it on Colorcast
there. We'd love to thank Miguel.
Oh, did we lose him right at the end?
Yeah, we'll talk about what Santorum is on Colorcast. And if you don't know what felching is, I'll tell you that too.
Doesn't that have to do with like
I think I'm delayed here. So
hot rocks.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's do the chance for a chance and get out of here.
Oh yeah, chance for a chance. It's time. Let me share my screen here.
While Danny's doing that again, thank you to Miguel Esparza, voice of Miguel, for coming on and sharing some time with us and some great stories. And we got some scoops out of that whole thing.
Yeah, we follow at Miguel's voice and hit that SAP button, man. I was so excited to find out I have a much better thing to listen to now.
Yeah, we got to have Spanish language lessons. Like we should go through like all the vocabulary before the season so we can listen to Miguel, so we can at least like learn that pelote is ball, that kind of thing for people that don't know. Anyway, let's draw this sucker. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Who's
why don't you have a song for this?
Who's gonna win? I don't.
What?
And the winner is Little Yumper. Congratulations. I will be contacting you shortly, and I will send you a postcard of Frank Chance.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I've been listening. Lil Yumper has a little. He's got a podcast
as well. I've not listened to that one yet. I
just started listening. He's only got 3 episodes, so.
Well, now that Ivy Envy's off, I need to figure out who I'm going to steal all my ideas from. So I need a whole new situation. I'm stealing from Catman. I'm stealing from Whitmire, taking all their ideas, making them entertaining. Anyway, listen to Cup of Cubby Blue. Thanks for bringing that up, Michael, before about how I'm moonlighting on that podcast. But no, I love talking to Sarah. She's the leader of that show. I'm kind of her sidekick on that sucker. And it's the Bleed Cubby Blue podcast. And we're trying to get that going again. And Andy would probably come back on at some point as well, at which point I might tiptoe out the back door, or maybe I stay out. I don't know. I might as well just, if I'm going to talk about the Cubs, might as well just do it all day long on all the shows. That's what I always say. Join us on Colorcast. I guess that's the show. So if anybody has anything else to add, I'll just say Spagog and play Blue Friday.
Spagog. Yeah, Blue Friday. Perfect.
Blue Friday, they're going, and Chicago's heart is broken. We don't know when the good times will come back again. Blue Friday, defeated, but I guess a change was needed. They're hitting the highway, Blue Friday. Wise men say that nothing lasts forever. They say the past should just stay